The Volvo Ocean Race fleet heads into the icy waters of the Southern Ocean. The drama to come will cast doubt on the integrity of the boats and on the race itself.
Devastation struck yet again on board Ericsson.
For Bauer Becking and his Movistar crew, it's déjà vu.
So there was oil everywhere, hydraulic fluid in your bunk, in your clothes, in the galley.
Technical manager Fred Barrett is in the firing line.
Oh, no, I'm not in the mood probably to be filmed right at the moment.
For Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a similar story.
The race is supposedly Vigo, Cape Town, Melbourne, and so far I've added a few extra stops along the way.
Event boss Glenn will face tough decisions.
We've seen every single component of breakdown. We've had broken rigs, broken booms, fires on board, canting keel mechanisms, hydraulics, boom vangs, sails exploding, crews overboard, all sorts of things.
But the race goes on. Day 3 of the leg from Cape Town to Melbourne, and once again the fleet is in trouble. Ericsson, the Swedish entry, has keel problems and heads back to the nearest port. Brasil 1, having sacked their navigator Adrian Cahalan, despite a successful first leg, find that good luck may have gone with her. They too are forced back.
We broke the first rule. Tolman's first rule.
Don't break the boat.
Pirates of the Caribbean, skippered by Paul Cayard, failed to finish the first leg and are in trouble again.
See the crack? Holy shit!
This is the port side floor. There's a crack here in the floor, traveling over to the junction with the bulkhead.
Cayard decides to continue on and repair the damage in Albany, Australia. Meanwhile, Movistar, another to pull out of the first leg, have more problems and make an emergency stop just off the coast.
Bauer actually apologised before he told me what was wrong. You start off, okay, what's the extent of the damage? Can we repair it? Yes, we can. Okay, how do we source all these parts? So we've had a bit of a scuttle yesterday and today sourcing the parts that we need because they're all pretty non-standard. Albany's actually come good for us and provided everything we need.
Right now we're trying to repair the broken ram, and all the bolts have sheared off, so the oil is just streaming out. So basically we had 2 litres of olive oil, we put it in the reservoir, and that kept the boat basically going.
Pirates, however, have bigger issues, and things are about to get worse.
Immediately I called the design office in the United States, and during the night they designed us a solid fixed piece of metal that we're planning on installing to just lock the keel on the center line. Sonia Paul from Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, not too good, because I got this piece of bar that you told me was 300 long. Yeah, well, it's 250. No, I'm not kidding. It's not good at all. Nobody checked it? What are we going to do about that? We spent $800 on an airplane to get it down here. Okay, Sonia. Okay.
Local engineers are called in, the defective part is replaced, and finally they look ready to go.
There's a dirty trick.
As the crew prepares to return to the racecourse, hopes are dashed again.
What was wrong? The drawing was wrong. Therefore, it don't fit. Quite simple. Someone who made the hydraulic rams and then someone who built the boat might not have had the same plan, and that's what it looks like, because the actual carbon fibre on the boat looks different to what it should be. So someone's made a modification, and most should be not told the engineers who have made the drawings for the emergency repair. Therefore, nothing fixed.
Can you fix it?
Yes. Suck it and see, as we say. And in the meantime, my wife will get angry because I'm not home. But you get that? All right.
This time, it fits. Brasil 1 repairs complete are back at sea and are charging after the leaders. But then disaster strikes. In Melbourne, pressure on event boss Glenn Burke mounts. Criticism from the yachting media escalates. Is the race doomed to failure? Are these boats safe? Is Glenn's job safe?
We've seen every single component of breakdown. We've had broken rigs, broken booms, fires on board, canting keel mechanisms, hydraulics, boom vangs, sails exploding, crews overboard, all sorts of things in these, and that's raised the awareness of the race.
Trouble-free ABN AMRO 1 is again first over the line. Not for that crew, the worries of the others. Despite their breakdown, Bauer Becking's Movistar manage a creditable third. Awaiting them on shore, a rigorous medical check.
The rams were leaking oil fairly consistently, so there was oil everywhere. Hydraulic fluid in your bunk, in your clothes, in the galley, all over this. As you stepped down the stairs, you had to hold on because you couldn't step anywhere. It was just one big bath. It was great. It'd be great with some naked girls, but unfortunately none of them. Yeah.
If it wouldn't have made it over here, then you could have basically crossed us off the list for having a chance at all of winning or even coming on the podium.
Well, I mean, it was frightening. You're on deck and guys are working on it down below. No one's quite sure what's going on. And
thousands of miles away, Torben Grail and Brasil 1 head slowly towards Fremantle. The prospect of a 4,000-kilometre journey across the country by road awaits.
Yeah, Chris, if you can get them to move them cars right out of there, mate, because I'm going to cut right across, okay?
For Pirates of the Caribbean shore crew and Chemo Worthington, hundreds of hours of work lie ahead.
We've got split shifts. We've got almost 16 guys on the job.
It's not good. It's the way it is,
Have you experienced anything like this before?
No. I sail on pretty solid boats normally.
Charlie, don't stop for this. Keep working.
It's a pushing the envelope thing,
Yeah.
It's pushing the envelope thing.
All right, Drew?
What's it like out there when you're pushing that envelope?
Hilarious.
I am.
Yeah, we're going fast, man. We're going world record speeds. You're smoking. You're hanging on tight. It's fun. These boats go very fast, and we can push them and they can push us. So, where's the limit? The boat has a limit, which we have found, and the crews do have limits, which we are finding as well. Sometimes the boat can eat up the crew, and sometimes the crew can eat up the boat.
Keep working.
Brasil 1 have just 8 days to reach Melbourne and join the lineup of broken boats at the race village.
I've got a bit of stress coming from the other end because I know the people want the boat back in the water as soon as they can. All I can do is just keep going and get there eventually.
The woes of Brazil, Movistar, Pirates of the Caribbean and Ericsson threaten the very future of the race. With over half the fleet needing repairs before the Melbourne import race, event management is coming under increasing fire.
I mean, we've made some really big decisions with this race. We came out with a new boat, high technology, very quick. we're getting used to it just at the same rate as the skippers and crews are getting used to it. Breakdown has added another dimension. This race is my responsibility at the end of the day, and when it's called into question, I want to be sure that we're not hiding from it, that we're not running away, that if there is an issue and we need to fix it, we'll fix it.
Glenn decides to call a meeting of all the teams to thrash out the problems. Sponsors of the boats and of the event itself are becoming increasingly concerned that their image is being damaged.
Quite obviously the race is generating enormous amounts of publicity, and the reason for this meeting is that some of that publicity has been negative. Volvo, as a safety-conscious company, is a little bit nervous about what's going on. I think they're at the limit of how much they feel is a comfortable amount of conjecture over breakdowns in the race.
The boat is what it is. The rule describes a certain kind of boat.
Yep.
And, you know, it isn't the most seaworthy boat. It's carbon, it's flat, it's light, it's overpowered, it's wicked fast, and that's just the way it is.
We're having a rule, and I think we should just stick completely to the rule, because otherwise the end is loose.
I agree with Bo.
So, like, we are quite happy with our structure. We maybe haven't pushed it 100%. We sailed now, I think, 30,000 miles nearly, and we don't have any structural issues besides the ramp, fairly what we have. So I don't think we would change anything for the next leg in that sense.
If you want a seaworthy boat, you go on that Robin Knox Johnson, you go the wrong way upwind. You know, those don't break probably.
I think you shouldn't underestimate how we feel and the responsibility what we have. So I think we want to do the best for the race.
The truth is, these are really cool boats. It's just the reality we got into here is that apart from one boat, these are all first-generation boats, and we're just that far away from having the reliability, really, that ABN1 is showing.
I think all of the guys in that room felt the same threat that was coming in from the outside, and just with all good teams, they decided to band together in unity and come out with, because they believe in it. They love this race. When somebody threatens what they love and they feel it's important, and I don't think anyone that sits in a room and looks at a computer can tell what it's like sailing 7,500 nautical miles with 9 other guys and in the middle of the night in shitty conditions with stinking clothing on. And nobody sitting in an office has had that kind of bond with the guy that's sitting next to them. So when they're threatened, they band together, and that's what's happened, and it's absolutely magnificent to see.
Most of the problems have been caused by failures in the rams, which control the angle of the keel on the boat. Once again, for Fred Barrett of Movistar, a change is necessary. His expertise is now under close scrutiny.
It's about twice the weight of a titanium actuator, as we like to call them in the trade.
Twice the lifespan.
Well, that's about 400,000 times the lifespan. We just had ours x-rayed this morning, and we found that we had a crack in them too, so it's a very justified decision what we're doing.
Finally, there's good news for Grant Warrington, skipper of the Australian entry Premier Challenge. Since the start in Spain, he's been struggling to raise enough cash to stay in the race.
That's good news.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we're continuing on, which is great. We're very excited about it, and it just gives us the opportunity to update the boat and get to where we would like to have been at the start.
And who's come through with that?
Brunel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big announcement at 4 o'clock today, and where we announce our plan, how we move forward, and who's going to be involved, and yeah.
How close was that?
Very close. Basically, 2 days ago we weren't continuing on the race, and now we are.
It's difficult, I think, particularly in leg one. It was really hard for Grant because he knew that we didn't have the money. He and I were the only people that knew that we'd left without the money. And so for him, he's got that extra burden of having to know actually whether we've got the money or we haven't. And, you know, I think it's good for all the guys. You know, it certainly can't do them any harm to know who their sponsor is, that they're guaranteed to the finish, that, you know, now we can just get on with it. And, yeah, of course, for me, it just means that I can concentrate on other things rather than be constantly... I can concentrate on servicing the sponsors rather than actually having to, you know, find them.
The new, heavier rams have been installed on Movistar. Fred Barrett must now reduce the weight in other areas of the boat.
They'll make calculations based on the weight difference between the old rams and the new rams and presumably take that amount out of the bulb. These guys are pretty good at those kind of calculations, so they should be right.
But has Fred got it right?
Don't look so worried, Master.
Hey?
Don't look so
I'm not worried, it's not my boat.
We're looking for 13,970 minus 625.
Well, plus 30.
Plus 30, yeah. So we're looking for 13,355.
Right.
It's hanging a bit low, it's like 13,405. We're down to 385 at the moment.
Is the motion sensor still on?
Yeah. It's only been off once and that was at 13,410. It's 13,375 there.
What is it? 13.
It's just stabilised at 13,400.
Is the sensor off?
Yeah. So it's not. It's on again now. $13,400 again.
What were you looking for, Fred? Oh, a number. I'm not in the mood probably to be filmed right at the moment, so it's a bit of stress on here.
Would that be with the plus 30?
So what's the number you choose?
13,400 at the moment.
That's going to help.
How far out does that make it?
13,385.
Well, really, I mean, at the end of the day, the boat's measuring, they think about 25 kilos overweight.
Yeah.
Which just astounds all of us because we've targeted to be 20 kilos underweight. So that's a 45 or 40 kilo increase in weight. And to be quite honest with you, just don't know how that happens. So it's for the measurers to determine, and if they stick with what they're going to stick with, then we'll have to take some more lead out of the bulb, so which is a bit of a piss off. But I'm just pretty annoyed at the moment, as most technical managers get.
It's heavy. No good.
Anything to chuck out?
Huh?
Anything to throw out?
It's a bit weird because we waited the boat in Cape Town.
Fred said, yeah.
And so we've got the numbers, we know what we're taking home, we know what we're putting in.
Yeah.
And it's 35 kilos heavy, so what can it be?
We're all just shaking our heads. Where's that come from? We don't know. What have you got to do? Take more lead off the bulb.
The bulb of the boat is also a problem for Grant Warrington. His doesn't comply with the rules.
The only solution for Warren to be able to modify his boat is for him to withdraw his entry and to re-enter the race.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Oh,
if he
it's
re-enters,
worth some money
he has
to
to
you,
pay
Glenn.
everything.
He withdraws. Right, he withdraws from the race.
So he doesn't have a
Have you
sign.
spoken to him about this?
Yes.
Right, you just rang me before.
Yeah, he suggested it.
This is an instantaneous way to alienate 50% of the viewing fraternity. But then again, we do that every leg anyway, so I think you'd have to put this to the board. I don't think we could make an arbitrary decision on this one, even if the rules allowed it.
Come on in.
Oh dear. Uh-oh. Do we want this on film?
Is this
Hello.
safe?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. Haven't seen you for a while. And you?
Hello, Tony.
Welcome to Melbourne. The bulb and the fin don't match, and I don't know how much of this I explained to the other don't, but it's the nose point height that really can't be changed. So today, the boat isn't compliant with the the allowable stress on the fin.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's fault other than the fact that I suppose with the short time we had in Spain, we had to make a decision off the cuff. It's really a question of if we can get the boat reweighed before the import race, starting again as a fresh entry, aren't we, with no points? So we just need to be able to do that this week and restart.
No.
So we can't sail this weekend, is that what you're saying? Or? Okay, well, I guess that's the end of the game for us, because if we're not sailing this weekend, Brunel's not going to sign our contract and we're out of the game.
It would be best, in my view, that you sailed the way you did for the import race and then packed it up and sent it to Baltimore.
We're going to be totally rebranded and everything for this weekend.
That's fine. I don't have any problem with that. Those guys are acting on the periphery of the common theme, and they're acting in an insular fashion to some degree, trying to get an edge. And the other guys predominantly are acting under the rule and under the ethos. And that ethos is not just the thing that we've done in 2005-06 for the Volvo Ocean Race. It's an ethos that's been created over 30 years of Whitbread.
A few negative comments from different people at different times. So, and I think, Tim Jeffries, for example, has written in the Telegraph today that, it's not in the spirit of the rule. I mean, what a load of bullshit, Truly, it's got to be better to have 7 boats in the race than 6. And if the rules are the rules, if they say that we can, retire and enter a new boat, well, so be it. If someone else was building a Volvo 70 today and finished it next week and wanted to join the race, well, they can start. What's the difference? Who says you have to be in the race from the start to finish and do every leg? The rules say that you've only got to do 4 legs.
Excuse me, we've got some paperweights out of this boat.
Yeah, get some paperweights on.
Got some
You can hold a lot of paper down.
So I've been the captain of this boat on dry land, and so far it's been smooth sailing. I'll have to hand it back to the captain over here, Alan. I'll say, where's my boat ride, mate?
5 days after leaving Fremantle, Brazil arrives in Melbourne.
I've got to give you this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for getting the board here.
Yes, no worries. Only 1 piece.
It's good that everybody's here, but it's the beginning of the work now. We'll involve the whole team now, working in very hard hours to get ready. It's a lot of things to do and very little time.
But Brazil 1's problems continue.
One of the pieces of rigging that was supplied was a little long, so we're having to try and come up with a solution so we can actually put the mast in the boat. And the last thing we want to do is compromise this mast. This is our last mast, and we have to go the rest of the way around the world with it. If we can get the mast in tonight, then we're racing. If we can't get the mast in tonight, we're not racing.
So doubts hang over half the fleet just days from the start of the next ocean leg. The future of the race, the crews and the organisers hangs in the balance. But as we see in our next programme, things can get worse.
For a fair amount of time it looked like we were losing the battle, but I mean, you don't give up, eh?